Hello, welcome to the Connecting with Our Community webinar led by Studio Designer CEO Keith Granet. Thank you for joining us today. Today our guest is Chad Stark, Senior Vice President of Stark Carpets and President of Scalamandre. We invite you to submit written questions anytime during the session. After Keith and Chad finish their conversation, we will begin our audience Q&A. If you go to the GoToWebinar control panel under questions, you will see a dialog box to type in as seen in this screenshot. We will try to get to as many questions as possible. And now, here's Studio Designer CEO Keith Granet.
Welcome everybody to Connecting Our Community once again. We're really excited today to have Chad Stark, as Lauren mentioned, Senior Vice President of Stark Carpet and President of Scalamandre. I've known Chad for many years and have sort of watched the growth of the company, and I'm very excited to hear what's going on at Stark Carpet. So welcome, Chad, and glad you're with us.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to be doing this.
That's great. So just first, how are you doing? I mean, it's crazy times for people, and what's it been like?
It's definitely been interesting, eventful, maybe you could say. I mean, no one expected this to happen, and we were in a really great position as a business. Things with Scalamandre, when we took that over, were really starting to click. The investments that we started making 3 or 4 years ago in terms of our technology, our systems, and our people, more than anything, were really starting to click. And our first quarter was amazing. And out of nowhere at the end of the quarter, this hits us at left field. So on the upside, or on the positive side, I mean, had this happened 2 years ago, I feel like we would have been in a much worse position. But fortunately, we've really built a strong infrastructure, and some of the investments that maybe our sales team were like, "Why are you making me do this?" Now they're super thankful for that they have some of these new tools. But yeah, it's been challenging. I mean, we're just getting used to these video chat meetings, and really focusing on people's safety first and foremost. It's just been a whole difference in mindset, and it's taken some adjusting, but overall, I think things are going okay.
Good. Well, nice to hear that. So what lessons have surprised you during all of this?
There are a few lessons I think that stick out the most to me. First, I think, is that uncertainty really exists all around us. That's been the hardest part for us, is planning for the future, because of the uncertainty of the world right now. We can't even make decisions about what we're going to do in August, because we have no idea what's going to happen in August. Will the unemployment benefits get extended? Fortunately, we received funding from the Payroll Protection Program, PPP program, and is that spend period going to get extended? When will our showrooms open? Will there be another outbreak? Will people be comfortable coming in with open showrooms? So I think that uncertainty and how we have to adapt to that uncertainty has been the biggest lesson we learned. And what we've found is that the number one way to battle this uncertainty is by having information. So whether that's getting feedback from our team members, interviewing clients, doing different analyses on different things, and really just putting together as much information as possible. That, I think, to me has been the lesson, is that the more accurate and timely information is, the smarter the decisions you can make. And while we've always known this, the importance of acting on information versus gut instinct, I think now is greater than it's ever been for us.
So, speaking of the PPP and just how have you handled, have you furloughed your staff, or how is that? Have you kept them on? It's different for all kinds of companies as far as how they're handling customer support and manufacturing and sales and all of that.
Sure. So, fortunately for organizations like Stark and Scalamandre, there have been some really great unemployment benefits. And it's been an interesting dynamic, because we have many people, maybe in our warehouse or around the country in our showrooms, who were earning less than they earn now on unemployment, or would earn on unemployment. And so we've kind of taken a hybrid approach, really doing everything that you just said. We've done furloughs, we've done pay cuts, we've done part-time employment. That's been our main strategy. So the significant majority of the people at our company right now are on a part-time work schedule. So let's just use our warehouse. In our warehouse, everyone is on part-time. We didn't do any furloughs there, but they're only working 25 hours a week. And in Georgia, they have the law where you can work up to a certain number of hours and earn a certain amount of income per week, and it doesn't impact unemployment at all. So we said, wow, this is a great opportunity. Let's put everyone on the maximum amount that they can work and the maximum that we can pay them so that they still get their full unemployment benefits. And for them, they're making significantly more money. And so strategies like part-time have really worked. Same thing with our sales force and many of our operations and corporate positions. The part-time strategy has really been big for us because it allows people to work and still get paid from the company while continuing to earn as close or more than what they were earning before because of the $600 a week federal unemployment subsidy. I mean, I never knew I'd be such an expert on unemployment, but I could tell you so much about unemployment in every state. But that's been the reason I guess we know so much, or I know so much, and our companies learn so much, is because the biggest challenge we've had in this whole situation is balancing the needs of the company with the needs of our team members and our employees. And it's a fine line because at the end of the day, every company, my opinion is that every company should act like they're in survival mode because we don't know what the future is going to hold, right? Uncertainty is the word of the quarter for us. And with that being said, we need to do what's right for the company, but also do right by our team members. And whether it's things like pay 100% of medical while people are not doing, people are not able to pay when they're on part-time, which is one thing that we're doing. Or if it's giving loans to people who are making more, who then when we rehire, they can pay back. And we've explored a range of different creative solutions to try to have our team members earn as close to they could or as they were pre-COVID as they are in this combination of different benefits or employment from us or government subsidies.
Yeah, it seems like everybody wants a date, and none of us know what that date is. Like, are we going to do this till Thanksgiving? Are we going to do this till the beginning of the year? Are we going to do it till next year? And that's the biggest question: is we're all operating in the unknown. So communication, how have you shifted the communication, and how often are you communicating with your teams?
Great question. So communication, has been a huge focus of ours right now. And again, we're really talking about internally, and I'll keep that part of these answers internal facing, but obviously I'm happy to talk about externally to our clients and what we're focused on there too. But just to kind of continue with the internal facing stuff. So we've always had regular meeting rhythms. Our business, we follow a methodology called scaling up, or the entrepreneurial operating system. For those interior designers who are listening, or any business owner who's listening who wants a blueprint for how to run your business, I recommend reading the book Scaling Up. That book single-handedly changed my life, and I think the direction of our company. But part of that book talks about communication as your execution strategy. And we've always, for the last 3 years, let's say, had regular weekly meetings with teams, reviewing our rocks, we call them, which are 3-month priorities. And so what's changed now is we're requiring daily huddles. So every morning at 9 a.m., every team gets on Zoom and has a FaceTime with each other, just to, more than just, holding people accountable or seeing what they're up to, is just to create that sense of community, because it could be very lonely when we're sitting behind a screen. I'm in my mom's office, in New Jersey, but fortunately I have 6 nieces and nephews here with me. But other than that, it could be lonely. And so we've really focused on the team communication and making that more frequent with daily huddles, obviously continuing with the weekly meetings. In addition to that, we've done a lot of different things across Stark and Scalamandre for community building. So everything from, a young lady on our team giving how to make a killer manicure at home, or cooking Levain cookies, or doing different community events to keep people engaged with each other. Carpets and cocktails was another one we were doing once a week. So we've continued those events, as well as, we actually today have our first all company town hall since the crisis. Actually, we had one that was mid-crisis, but we usually do one of those every 3 months, where I update the company on the financial health of the company. I update everyone on the projects we're working on. And so now we're doing that monthly. Today I'm announcing we're doing it monthly today on our quarterly one. And in addition to, we created something called the Essential Crisis Support Team, which is a group of people cross-functionally that we talk to once a week to get feedback on different things. And there's always new information. And so we want to make sure that we're hearing from enough people to get those perspectives heard as early as possible so we can react on them. And so it's really just been about constant video chat focused two-way communication, or more than one to many.
So now talk to me about how you're communicating with your customers.
Sure. So, it's been interesting to adapt for our salespeople because, as a company that's been around for over 80 years and as one of the anchor tenants in many design centers around the country, our sales have historically always been so showroom based. Scalamandre is a little different. We have more agents, we have more road reps. Obviously, no one's really seeing road reps right now, but both companies are very showroom based. And so changing our sales team's approach to be more proactive in terms of prospecting than previously has been interesting. And the guidance that we're giving and the communication that we're focused on is, from a corporate perspective, we're sending 2 e-blasts a week. We're focusing, obviously featuring some new stuff, but really trying to reiterate the message, which is our #1 brand promise that we call peace of mind, or peace of mind service. And we realize that as the world has changed and it's become flatter, as communication technologies, as transportation technologies become easier, it's easy. People can or similar product, and what really differentiates us is the service that we provide to our clients, because similar product can be found in other places, but we do think we have unique product, but what we try to differentiate ourselves is with service. And so focusing our messaging, whether it's our twice a week e-blasts, whether it's our once every 2 weeks design books, which have like an editorial portion and a product portion. We just did one that for handmade rugs. Those have been really focused on peace of mind. And also, for our salesperson outreach, we've done a lot of training in terms of, empathetic leadership for our leaders, and different frameworks to have client conversations, because right now, what we need to be a partner for our clients. And what that means is being there for them. That's, if that means being their therapist, that means being their therapist. But it's, checking in, making sure that, if there's anything that we can do to help, we will. I've had many conversations about unemployment with clients to help them with their strategies. I just received the PPP money. I'm not sure what to do with it. What's Stark doing? Like, those are the ways that we can really add value to our clients right now, on top of course, our, abilities to service and still ship them product and sample and things like that.
So speaking of shipping, you are still shipping.
Yes. So, it depends on what the product is, but our warehouse is still shipping, yes.
Yeah. And how are you dealing with, are people still installing, or is that sort of a state-by-state issue?
Yeah, the problem we're having from shipping is that we get the orders ready, whether it's fabricating a rug or, whatever it is, shipping something open ends or a yard of fabric or whatever. But a lot of workrooms around the country, our clients want it, but there's no one to receive it. So where are we going to send a 12 by 24 piece of carpet? So it's not even just that people don't want installers coming to their house. For secondary homes, we are still doing installations in like a second home or a third home for a consumer who is not in that home, and they want to have things ready. So, our installation volume and our shipping has definitely gone down. The space that we've allocated in our warehouse for orders that are ready to ship has grown like fourfold. So we're still preparing things, but yeah, I think, people are definitely concerned. They don't want installers or measuring services coming into their house. And, even when they do, it's hard to get them the product.
Yeah, exactly. In manufacturing, are all your factories working and still, or is there any slowdown there?
There's definitely slowdowns. Depending on the region, there's different slowdowns. India, parts of India are more open than others. Nepal, extended their stay-at-home shelter-in-place order. Europe is back up to speed a little bit. The mill that we are a part owner in Pennsylvania, that was shut down and now it's open. So, that's operating maybe 40% capacity. So because we have such a large assortment across carpets and fabrics and wall covering, et cetera, we source from so many different areas. It's all individualized. And I'd say if any team in our company has the most work relative to what they had before, which was always a busy job, it's our custom import teams. It's the teams who are managing our supply chain, the constant changes of what their governments are doing and what the capacity is of those facilities, and updating our systems so our salespeople can accurately give that information to our clients. They've been swamped, and I couldn't be more proud of how hard they've been working to get this information to our clients, because it's a constantly changing situation. But at the end of the day, we know that our clients, sometimes the clients of our clients don't care about that delay. They just want their product. They want to be in their Hampton house by Memorial Day or whatever it is. And not to say that their client is unempathetic, but they ordered something a long time ago and they want it now. And so that's been difficult to manage. But on a case-by-case basis, we've been doing whatever we can to try to help give our designers, our clients, the tools and the knowledge to be able to have effective conversations with their clients, whether it's me giving them a letter from the company explaining the situation in a little more detail or whatever it is. We're really trying to be that partner again for our clients to help them manage their clients' expectations.
That's great. So with states opening up slowly around the country, are some of your showrooms starting to open up, or what's your plan with that?
Yeah, so some showrooms are open, some showrooms are not. Most are accepting appointments. So, for us, since a lot of our business is sample focused, right? We have samples, especially handmade custom samples in our showrooms, not in our warehouse. Our salespeople have wanted to go in. So we've been allowing people in, obviously following social distancing guidelines, providing all the PPE equipment that we need to make sure people are safe. And most of our showrooms are open appointment only now. And our salespeople are definitely inviting clients to come in. I'm not sure off the top of my head, which ones specifically. There's a couple that are fully open right now based on their locations. But again, it's so dependent on what the government is doing. And if non-essential businesses are closed, as much as we want clients to come in, we can't really announce that. So we're definitely doing whatever we can to service our clients. If any client has a need and says, hey, can you, I have this project, it's urgent, can you FaceTime me from the showroom? We've been doing that. Or, we've been setting up a lot of virtual appointments, and we have had meetings in the showroom in different places based on whatever the client needs and what we're able to do legally and what people are comfortable doing more than anything.
Well, speaking of the PPE, I heard that you had an initiative to make Scalamandre masks, and they sold out right away or something. Nice.
Great. Here's my Scalamandre zebra.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a really exciting initiative for us. We partnered with a company called Mask Club, which is a digital print house that actually, the company called Trevco, the parent company, is run by one of my friends, and they pivoted right away to change their production from printing on t-shirts to printing masks. And so, they have a licensing business, and so we essentially partner with them, licensed many of our patterns, and we completely broke the internet. I mean, to date, we've sold over 15,000 masks, and what's so exciting for us is the initiative is completely altruistic. We make no money from it. For every mask sold, a mask gets donated to first responders. And for every mask sold, all of the net proceeds get donated to the Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club. So for us, we said, how can we leverage our designs and our marketing reach to help a good cause? And what organization that's industry specific needs our help? And the Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club had 4 events this spring that were canceled, which funds a lot of their year, including, the gala in New York City, that's Cipriani's. And so we thought if there was something we could do to give back a little there, that'd be great. And, it's been more successful than our wildest dreams. And they've had to shut down taking new orders for all of their designs for the next 2 weeks to catch up.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, I know that Lauren in our office was disappointed when she tried to get onto the site. She couldn't get one. But
yeah, well, soon, next week, you should be able to order. So stay tuned.
That's great. So, I know you're a board member of the DFA. What concerns you about our industry, given what we've just gone through and are going through?
A lot of concerns. I mean, I think I saw a meme, which I'll start with this. So I saw a meme on the internet, and it asked a great question, and it was a multiple choice question. And it said, who in your organization is responsible for digital transformation? Is it A, the CEO, B, the COO, or C, COVID-19. And for us, it's COVID-19. I mean, we've been talking about digital transformation forever, and it took this catalyst of this crisis to make us refocus on what a future state of our business can look like and how we can service clients in a new way. And fortunately for us, we have the appetite for making some investments right now for the future. We launched a massive website redesign project to make that our new website completely collaborative and transactable, collaborating via, starting the process online and finishing in the showroom, starting in the showroom, finishing online. We've launched that project so the clients can choose how to work with us no matter what they want. And my concern for the industry is, one, we're all stuck in these large spaces with long leases, Stark included, Scalamandre included. And two, are we going to be able to adapt quickly enough to new consumer preferences with communication, with technology, with e-commerce to continue to be preferred? And when you have a small company, a startup design shop, a product shop who has no overhead, they can adapt quickly because they have no expenses. But for the more legacy brands who are more nationally distributed, the concern I have is that with expensive leases and less cash because less orders, are we going to be able to invest enough to be able to adapt quickly enough? I mean, I think that what will happen is once we're out on the other side, the importance of authentic and genuine relationships will be greater than ever. And the companies that are still standing will be able to capture great opportunity and will be in a position. But my concern isn't when we get there. My concern is just getting there. And from conversations I've had, I think some people are underestimating the challenges ahead of us. I mean, we talk about business being back to normal. For us, I don't think business is going to be back to normal until 12 months from now. Maybe we'll be open, maybe sales will rebound, but we're going to end this year presumably with a much lower backlog because sales are going to be down. And then the first 6 months of next year are still going to be rebounding, getting back to where we were. So, again, fortunately for us, we have the backing and the wherewithal to be able to invest, and we have the cash to be able to invest. And we've come up with some great strategies for our employees to, leverage the government programs. But companies who are smaller with not as many people, who still have overhead structures that are pretty fixed, that's my concern, is just their abilities to be able to adapt and invest in what they need to right now.
Yeah. People ask me all the time, what I think our future looks like. And I have to think that for the sort of the home industry, certainly the residential side, I'm not sure about hospitality, and the people are just living in their homes, they're looking around each room and they're looking at other spaces, and even talking to some of the architects that I work with directly, they're getting calls for new projects that are in the suburbs or they're in resort communities because they want more space. That I do believe that we're going to be fine, because whether you're buying a pillow or building a new home, people are really thinking about their environments more than ever, and they want them to be as nice as possible. And when people nest more, they take care of those spaces. It's just a question of, the getting through the unknown to know what they should do. And as people get more and more comfortable, they're going to start investing in their homes. So I do believe, as an industry, we're probably luckier than most. But the model of how we've purchased and done business will change.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing that in certain markets as restrictions get lifted, the demand is still there. To your point, I'm not concerned about the demand of high-end home furnishings, but the question is, who's going to be supplying it? I mean, the Denver Design Center just opened, and they had the busiest week that they've ever had. That's what the head of the design center said. So, designers are itching to get back in. I'm looking on Instagram, and a friend of mine just posted, I can't wait to get back in the D&D building. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I hope people want to get back into the D&D building. But yeah, the demand is definitely still there. So I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's great. So have you, we talked about sort of how you're communicating, and are there other, and how you sort of switch with this sort of the whole idea of becoming more digital. Are there other innovations that have come out of this that you as a company have adopted that, have changed the way you think or that changed the way you do business?
I think the biggest blind spot that we realized through this crisis as it relates to kind of fulfillment and sales is, as a company, close to half of our sales are custom handmade products. So whether it's hand knotted, hand tufted, specialty, boutique, one-of-a-kind rugs. And right now, all of our samples are in our showrooms. And so if a client wants a sample, we have to get it from a showroom. Unlike our broadloom business, or unlike our fabric or wall covering business, where samples are centralized in our warehouse in Georgia, we're able to service requests. But right now, and it's opening up again, but at first, we didn't have the ability to service custom requests because our warehouse didn't have quality samples, didn't have samples of the popular custom items, and also wasn't prepared to ship color palms based on what people want. And so I would say that is the biggest innovation that we've learned that we're working on now is, how do we empower our sales team and our clients to work with us and developing custom items, getting samples, getting pricing, and placing orders in a remote environment with closed showrooms. That is something that we're working on now. Our warehouse has, really stepped up to the challenge, and our production teams have really stepped up to the challenge, and we're changing the way that we do custom business. Obviously, the sourcing side of it, how we produce the product is going to stay the same, but all the resources we have available to our clients and our sales team in terms of how to get the order, so to speak, to get the information for placing the order, online visualization, online pricing, picking exact palms to then show up in a nice palms placed nicely with a rendering to scale. I mean, those are the things that we're working on now from an innovation standpoint. That is different than what we had before, which COVID and this pandemic made us realize.
So what percentage do you think of your orders are custom versus sort of off the shelf?
It's close to half, just under half. So that's an interesting challenge we've had since I started my career here is, people think of Stark. There's so many different perceptions of Stark around the country. You ask a New York City designer, they might say Stark's not expensive enough. You ask a designer in Austin, Texas, Stark is too expensive. Because we're national, we have these different perceptions. But one that I've heard more than others is that, Stark is mainly a broadloom company. And it's just so interesting to me when I hear that, because yes, broadloom is a really great part of our business, and we are definitely the industry leader for broadloom, but we probably do more custom handmade product than any company in the country because of our distribution. I mean, we're doing tens and tens of millions of dollars of custom hand knotted and custom hand tufted product each, hand tufted product each. So it's an interesting misconception. But yeah, I mean, a huge portion of our business is custom, which right now production is slowed because the mills are closed, and our sampling, we've realized an opportunity to make that easier as well.
Yeah, we had Philip Jeffries on not too long ago, and he was saying just the amount of sampling that's been going out, because typically they would be going to a firm, but now they're going to everybody's home. So each designer wants samples, and they've been sending samples like crazy. Have you seen a big uptick in sending samples?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our samples relative to our sales, it's definitely a higher ratio. We are fortunately for Scalamandre, we spent 2 years investing in what we think is kind of a state-of-the-art website that is fast, that is really searchable. We completely revamped our data strategy, and it's totally transactable for designers for our fabrics and wall coverings, trim, including some of the product that is stocked overseas, such as like Liliev, which is stocked in Paris. So we've really seen on the fabric side, really consistent sampling, and on the carpet side, same. I mean, people are just requesting it more, but the difference is that we're not sending it from the showroom and replenishing the showrooms. We're sending it directly from the warehouse. So, that's another one of the things we've learned is how do we improve the experience our clients have when getting samples from our warehouse? Because before they were getting samples from a showroom, and now they're only getting it from the warehouse. And so how do we, make that touch point with our company more personalized, as well as, more valuable to our clients by including spec sheets with pricing, for example, or things like that, which we're exploring.
That's great. Well, before we jump over to see what questions our audience has, anything else you want everybody to know about the companies right now?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing that we're talking about right now, and what we need from the industry, not just our clients or not just from us, is, clients to be confident in the future of our industry, and for us, the future of our company. I mean, we've been around 80 years, and I see some other companies really hitting home that message. We've been around X amount of time, we're going to be around, but almost ad nauseum. And we're not saying it that much, but that's our main objective right now, is to instill confidence in our clients that we will get through this crisis, and we will be a stronger company because of it. And we're here as a partner for them, and whatever we can do to help them during this time, we will. And that's kind of the main message that, if I didn't make clear before, I want to reiterate, is that, not everyone's going to make it. Fortunately, Stark and Scalamandre will. And we're just that partner that designers can count on, whether it's they want to place a large custom order now but are worried about someone stealing their deposit, then I'll jump on the phone with your client and talk to them one-on-one, because while we are this bigger company, we're still family owned, family operated, and I'm very involved with our clients. And so, we're doing whatever we can to instill that confidence in our clients.
Fantastic. So Lauren, do we have questions from our audience?
Sure, and I just want to remind our audience that you can submit written questions in your GoToWebinar control panel. So I just wanted to share at first two comments from our listeners. Chandra is saying, your face mask initiative is awesome, great job. And then Emily is saying, thank you guys, this has been so wonderfully helpful, and it's great to see you both. So the first question comes from Anne. Are there any changes in your product offerings that you predict will come out of this time, whether it will be easy to clean materials or change in aesthetics coming from everyone spending so much time in their living spaces now?
Great question. So we've definitely, already seen the trend moving towards luxury performance. And now with everyone sitting in their homes, surrounded by their families, making a mess, the need for performance luxury fabrics, I think, is greater than it was before. And so that's a big initiative that we're working on now. The two biggest things we hear from designers during this pandemic and even before were consistent. One is, the need for something that's cleanable and pet proof, so to speak, and kid proof, right? And the other is the need for customization delivered quickly. And so both of those are initiatives that we're kind of doubling down on, whether it's, getting a custom hand tufted rug in 8 weeks, or if it's, doing a custom Wilton in 12 weeks, which is not that quick, but, relative to other timeframes, or if it's, doubling down on our fabrication services and stocking more and more handmade product in rolls and, doing custom sized rugs delivered in under 4 weeks, which is something that we're doing now with some of our hand knotted silk assortment. We have an assortment called Halcyon, which is 100% hand knotted silk stocked in Nepal on rolls of carpet 18 by 50 feet long. So if someone wants a 17 by 24 foot hand knotted silk rug, we fabricate it and deliver it under 4 weeks. And so now we're looking to expand that capability and combine it with luxury performance. And we're hoping in the fall, everything got delayed a little, but we're hoping at this point in the fall to come out with a really expansive luxury performance assortment. Right now we have some broadloom item with it. We have some handmade items, but we're doubling down on it, and we're going to be launching one that has these fibers across different qualities in our entire company. Hand tufted, hand knotted, flat woven, Wiltons and machine woven, Axminsters and other types of machine made constructions, hand loomed, all types of broadlooms. So it's going to be really exciting to see what our luxury performance and our quick ship custom assortments look like by the fourth quarter of this year.
That's great.
All right, I have a question from Jessica. Now that some of the showrooms are open, what is the best way to make an appointment to come to the showroom?
So it depends on where you are and if you have an account manager, if you have an account with us or not. At a minimum, you can always go to starcarpet.com. On the top, there's a banner that's, I don't know what it says, but there's some sort of call out that says, check here for the latest news about our showrooms. On there, it has updated information about the status of each of our showrooms, and it has the best contact information for who to schedule appointments with if that's the case. If you're ever not sure where to go, you can always email info@starcarpet.com, or maybe it's information@starcarpet.com. I think it's info. And our e-commerce concierge team can point you in the right direction. But calling your local showroom or emailing your account manager, our account managers are still the our representatives. And so reaching out to them, if you have an established relationship, they can coordinate everything you need. But if you don't know, go to our website, email info@starcarpet, and same thing with Scalamandre. It's on the website, or info@Scalamandre. It's the same for both companies.
Great. I have a question from Ellen. The book you mentioned, Scaling Up, can you give us the Cliff Notes version or a little info about why you would find it helpful?
Ellen, you just made my day, because I feel like in another life, I would want to be a teacher. Maybe later in my life, I'll be a business school professor. That'd be kind of a goal of mine. So the Cliff Notes of the book is that it simplifies the way you operate a business into 4 sections: people, strategy, execution, and cash. So people is all about how do you find the right people, and how do you make sure they're in the right seats. Strategy is, what's your long-term vision for the business? There's a term called a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. What's your 10-year goal? For us, that's to be used in one area of every high-end design project globally. That's where your mission statement is, for us to help create beautiful spaces. And it talks about the process of creating strategies down to, your 3-month priorities, which are called rocks in our world, because, and I'm not going to go through the analogy, but they're called rocks. And there's a whole reason why. And so when you have the right people in the right seats, when you have the right strategy that's inspirational and keeps everyone aligned, then how do you make sure people work on that strategy with the execution disciplines through weekly meetings, through standard communication, and things like that? And then last is cash. And cash is the most important thing for any business, especially right now. I have an old coach who told me that, profit, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. And without cash, you can't do anything. And so the 4th component is all about how you, increase your cash conversion cycle to get more cash into the business that you can use to operate. And it kind of breaks it down on how you can apply that to your business and what exercises you can do. And so Scaling Up is the name of the book by Vern Harnish. That's kind of like textbooky. So there's another version of that book. That something came out off of that book called Traction by an author named Gino Wickman. And that's called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Both are based off the same principles. Traction is a much easier read than Scaling Up. But yeah, that's the idea. Both books are based off this methodology of people, strategy, execution, and cash.
Nice.
I can talk about business books all day.
All right, Chad, I have a question from Jessica. You said that you can do a virtual showroom tour. Have you gotten feedback on if people find that helpful?
So personally, I haven't gotten direct client feedback. Our sales team, who I've been speaking to, says their clients love it. And because again, so much of our assortment is custom, or even the way that people browse in the showroom is different than currently our website and most website shows. Let's just talk about lengths of fabric, of prints, and broadloom items. You flip through the racks. They're sorted. You have different designs. Sometimes it's color blankets. Sometimes it's large scale patterns. And the browsing discovery experience is very different online. And so that's what we're providing to our customers is, oh, well, what are you looking for? Providing that personalized, tell me about your project. I know my assortment better than you will ever. So let me solve your design problems by asking the right questions and then guiding you to the right place. And so all these, these virtual showroom tours have done is give us an opportunity to bring our showroom experience online, because the current way our website and all websites operate is a very different search with a very different discovery experience. And so we found our sales team has spoken to me and said they're hugely valuable. I don't want to say I've heard directly from clients, but our salespeople are saying, our internet's too slow. We need faster internet because they're so successful. So.
Great. I think we have time for just one more question. Chad, you shared that your favorite star carpet is Leopard Rose. Can you tell us about the history of this design and why it's an important part of your company legacy?
Sure. I'm trying to think. I don't have any of it around me right now, but in my basement, there's Leopard Rose. And Leopard Rose was a pattern, it's a leopard print with a rose in the middle with some space in between the rows, like a circle with space, and then the rose in the middle of that with the leopard print, all the rest of it. And that's been a design that has been in our company for, over 50, 60 years. I don't know exactly how long, but that was inspired when my grandmother when she was still alive, and she saw a scarf with a similar type pattern. And so when she came back, she worked with our art studio, who at that point was doing hand painted renderings, right? There was no computers, so they were hand painting with watercolors. And they did different versions of this leopard print with a rose in the middle. And, since then, it's been one of our top sellers, even to date. It is, to me, iconic Stark in, some of the most luxurious rooms, or, Victoria's Secret changing rooms. This pattern just creates such a bold statement. And it's just, to me, animals as a category is very Stark and Scalamandre, but Leopard Rose specifically, because it started with my grandmother getting inspiration on a scarf, bringing that with a hand-painted mural or hand-painted rendering, and then the fact that it's still a bestseller, to me, is my favorite pattern because it's so special and it's really so identifiable Stark. You walk into the Four Seasons in DC and you're like, oh, I know this carpet. So it's just, it's everywhere, and it's really, it's everywhere to the point where it's not in enough places where it's overused. It's a very expensive item still, but it's so identifiable that, when you see it, you remember seeing it.
That's great. So Lauren, I'm going to ask Chad one last question, which is, you've grown up in this industry. Did you always think that you would wind up in the family business?
A great question. So no, when I was a child, I did everything from play hide and seek in the rugs to, was an intern building our first web search categorizing rugs by color. And then when I went to college, I didn't think I was going to join the business. I was always interested in business. My father taught me how to take commission away from a salesperson when I was 7 years old. So I think he always wanted me to go into the business. But when I was in college, I was really involved with startups. I went to undergraduate business school, and really wanted to kind of do my own thing. And I feel, in retrospect and reflecting back on it, the reason I wanted to do that was to create my own legacy. But what I realized after a couple of years of work was that, Stark has such an amazing history, and with the future, I can create my own legacy with the company. And now with the addition of Scalamandre, to create my own legacy and create my own impact with the companies. And once that clicked for me, I really, outside of loving the people in the industry, I mean, we have probably the most colorful group of people in any industry. But yeah, I mean, the combination of that plus realizing I can make my own legacy was when it really solidified for me that this is going to be something I do for the rest of my life.
Very good. So I guess we're at the end of our interview, and just really appreciate this time. And I'm sure our community really appreciates it as well. They love hearing from, their suppliers and vendors, and just knowing what's happening out there and the encouragement of everything you're doing. So we appreciate that. And I'm sure we're all happy to be able to work with you and continue making Stark the company it is, and being supportive of it. So thanks so much.
No problem. Of course. And thank you guys for having me. I mean, going back to the lessons that you mentioned, and that's not a new lesson, but, just being grateful is something on a personal level that I've really, it's kind of hit me, right here, because, there's so much going on, and so many of us are so lucky. And even when we can't leave our homes, we can eat, which is great. If we have family, even though there's sometimes personal tragedy, especially now, just really being grateful as a mindset has really changed how I've been able to manage my anxiety and my stress. So thank you, Keith, and the rest of the organization here. I'm super grateful for you guys inviting me on, and this was super fun, and hope to do it again soon.
Okay. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Our next webinar is on Wednesday, May 27th, and our guest will be Mark Zafran, president of Holly Hunt. You can register from your Studio Designer dashboard. If you have any questions at all or any feedback, please email us at hello@studiodesigner.com. Thank you so much for being part of our Studio Designer community.